Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey with Stephanie and Erika. Let's get to it.
In Australia, we have legalized same-sex marriage, but there's still people around, that can be bigoted and can be rude and nasty and unsupportive. So, although my parents are very open and accepting of who I am, that's really scary to me that I'm going to be coming out to them while Steph is here.
There's nothing wrong with this, but for Erika, she exhibits a common thing that we see enough of, where she will laugh in times when it doesn't seem like it makes sense. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people do this, and I don't do it, but and I think I do it sometimes. Actually, I do it sometimes on the podcast. Sometimes when I am saying something that I am uncomfortable about, it's not all the time, obviously, but there are times, and I don't know if you'll notice this, but I'll actually kind of giggle a little bit. I won't laugh, but I'll do a little sort of laugh, if that makes any sense. And sometimes the occasional time that I actually listen back to an episode, I usually don't like to because I cringe as I watch the whole thing. But when I do, sometimes I notice that and I cringe even harder. I'm like, why are you laughing in that situation? Okay. So for Erika, she seems to exhibit that. She's talking about how it might be very hard for her to come out to her parents. And that is a very common experience for a lot of LGBTQIA people who are terrified of what their parents are going to say. We all know stories of people being ostracized by their families. There's even violent interaction sometimes, and very scary. And so Erika has those feelings, but she's laughing while she's saying it. So I'm not saying she's not supposed to be laughing. What I'm saying is that it indicates something about her personality. What does it indicate? Well, sometimes what it indicates is that while you were growing up, there was a family environment that made it so that you as a child weren't really allowed to have your own feelings, especially when they were negative, if you will, or created tension. So let's just say that. Let's say, you as a child, you're 5, you're 10 years old, and you have feelings that are going to potentially create tension in the room with your family. And you learn over time that if you giggle or laugh or smile while you're saying it, it will kind of mitigate the tension in the room. But what ends up happening is you inadvertently, by doing that, make people not really realize what you're saying because you're laughing while you're saying it. So an example would be for a 10-year-old, if they feel really, I don't know, they're really hungry or something, and they want to eat dinner earlier. They're on a vacation and they're hungry and they want to eat dinner, and they're detecting that other people aren't ready to eat dinner. And so the 10-year-old would say something like, "Oh, I don't know, I'm pretty hungry right now, but who knows? We don't need to eat." And so you say it in that very tentative way. And there's all these caveats to it. And the parents, when they hear that, they might say something like, "Oh, well, 10-year-old Erika, she just said she's hungry, but she's clearly not that hungry because otherwise she would have been more forceful about what she's saying. So, we'll ignore it and move on." And so your attempts to mitigate the tension because other people are creating that tension when you are being more straightforward actually makes it so you're more discounted as you communicate. And it can be a habitual thing that I will work on with clients on. I won't say stop laughing when you're saying that. I'll just say, okay, because a common scenario might be they'll talk about, being abused as a child, and they will laugh and have a sort of smile on their face as they're talking about being abused as a child. And I don't say to them, stop laughing, that's inappropriate, that's ridiculous. What I would say is, first off, in the beginning, I'll just let that go because I don't need to make someone feel uncomfortable right away. But once the relationship is strong enough, maybe session 20 or something, I might say, so I just want to point out a thing that I see, that when you talk about something difficult, it seems like sometimes you laugh or you smile during that instance. Tell me what's that about? And usually people have insight into it. They'll just say like, well, I think I do that because I'm nervous, or I'm scared of the way you're going to react when I say that sort of thing. Maybe that's why I do that. And then, okay, now it's on the table. Now let's evaluate it. What sort of traumas or discounting did you go through as a child that caused you the need to develop that in the first place? And how does that discount your own feelings? How does that change your feelings? Now, for some people, they just have nervous laughter, and so we don't want to pathologize that either. But anyway, let's rewind and watch what maybe Erika doesn't do this ever again, and all this blabbing that I'm doing has nothing to do with Erika in the future.
Imagine you come down, I'm like,
Oh God, no, you look gorgeous. I feel like I want to give her a kiss, but that is really not me. I'm not much of a PDA type, and I hope that Erika isn't disappointed by that. But to me, even though we didn't kiss, I felt like the first meeting we had was perfect.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with not liking PDA. You have to wonder about being on a reality TV show and you don't like PDA, because a lot of your affection is going to be made public to the entire world. But, let's just take her word for that. So there's that. It's not super PDA, just a little kiss, hello. So, but, maybe, let's watch further as the show progresses.
let's put the cookies like on top.
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Perfect. Okay.
Let's go.
You're with your girlfriend. How does that feel?
Lovely.
It's always so great to see the potential and the niceness in the beginning of the season, isn't it? Because from what I understand, this becomes difficult between the two of them. So let's just kind of revel in this moment before the conflict begins.
It honestly feels surreal because like right now we've only been girlfriends inside of an airport and on our phones.
Yeah.
So I'm like ready to just like bust out into the wild and like show the world.
I'm gay.
Yeah.
Oh my God. What the?
This is really
How
crazy.
romantic. Look at us.
How do you feel holding each other's hand?
It feels so good. But I'm trying to figure out, should we hold it like this?
Like this or like,
What do you
no,
like?
no, the other one.
Really? I like it that other way.
It's actually kind of a nice little moment that I think at least I can relate to. It's like, okay, which, because, there's different, you can do it like this, you can do it like this, you could do it, there's all these different ways to hold hands, and you have to decide that as a couple. Or maybe you switch it up to add spice to the relationship.
But I'm nervous for when we go back to the hotel because it's been a while since I've been intimate with anyone. I do know that Erika is a girl who enjoys sex. It's something that's really important to her. So I'm worried maybe I'm not going to be ready to do that with her as quickly as she wants me to.
So nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with one person being like, let's go for it, and the other person like, I want to take it slow. I wonder if they can communicate well about that, though.
And I just don't want this to be a deal breaker.
All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Thanks for joining me out there. Please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.